Several weeks ago, I was honored to be asked to preach at the Absalom Jones Feast Day commemoration at Voorhees College. As I prepared for that sermon, I was struck again by the significant example and witness of Absalom Jones. Born a slave, he managed to educate himself and later to purchase his freedom and that of his wife. Eventually, he became the first African-American priest in the Episcopal Church here in this country. Indeed, as a historical figure in this land and in the Episcopal Church, Absalom Jones is someone very important for us to remember. One thing in particular I want to call to your attention today about this remarkable man. Absalom Jones had every reason to engage in self-pity, but he did not. He easily could have claimed the role of victim, but his life had no place for that. Rather, Absalom Jones chose the path of liberation and affirmation as he followed the way of Jesus Christ. For us today, it is important to recognize that we have choices to make in our lives, and that by those choices, we set the direction of the faith journey of those lives. I'm referring here to the message that we probably heard countless times as teenagers, and those who are parents of teenagers have repeated the same message countless times, that our choices have consequences. And I need to add, as adults, we need to hear and to heed that same message. We have choices to make in this life. By means of those choices, we set the direction of our lives. Thus, our choices do have consequences. Now, having made that point here, it occurs to me that I could apply it in a variety of ways appropriate to our time and circumstances. That is, applications are numerous and widespread in our day here in South Carolina. However, in this address, I will mention only one example, and I will leave you to contemplate others. I want to suggest a choice for your life which is biblically appropriate and spiritually enriching. It represents a choice that I am convinced will make all the difference in your life as a faithful follower of Jesus Christ. That is, I commend to you today a life of gratitude, a life focused on giving thanks. To live such a life, we must make the choice to do so. It does not always come naturally. In fact, it seldom does. Like Absalom Jones, we sometimes could justify an attitude of self-pity or the role of victim, no doubt. But we have a choice to make, and a consequence of our choice involves the health of our spiritual lives. I implore you today to choose to be grateful about life and to give thanks continually to God for that life. Such an attitude puts us in right relationship with God. For giving thanks acknowledges God as Creator, Savior, and Sanctifier, and as the ultimate source of all good gifts. Gratitude also puts us in right relationship with other human beings who are our fellow travelers in this life, companions Jesus along with us. As we live in those right relationships with God and with our fellow human beings, therefore, we are enabled to accomplish the convention theme, to love and serve the Lord. Therefore, gratitude provides the basis for loving relationships following the Great Commandment. And gratitude also offers the motivation for Christian mission as we love and serve the Lord. Now let me practice a bit of what I preach. I want to give thanks to a number of people who love and serve the Lord in significant and important ways. Thanks, first of all, to those who have made ready for this convention. The clergy, the staff, and the people of Grace Church. Our brand new, part-time, hard-working, highly competent diocesan staff. And the various other groups, official and unofficial, who have helped prepare for this convention of the Episcopal Church in South Carolina. These folks had precious little time to prepare for a convention, and yet in 6 weeks' time they have hosted 2 of them. They certainly deserve our thanks. Thanks also to the people who have agreed to accept positions of leadership in the Episcopal Church in South Carolina. The fact is that few remaining Episcopalians had any previous experience in diocesan leadership for obvious reasons. Nevertheless, your willingness and your commitment are as impressive as they are necessary. I am grateful to you for your service and for the exercise of your considerable gifts. Thanks as well to those Episcopalians who have journeyed out into the wilderness in recent times seeking the Promised Land. You have had to leave your spiritual homes behind, trusting in God and one another, and facing an uncertain future. But you have persevered thus far, and God will provide a way forward in days to come. Thanks in particular today to St. Mark's Chapel, Port Royal, for your past faithfulness in this regard, and for the good example you offer to others traveling this way. Next, thanks to the several resource parishes with which we are blessed in the Episcopal Church in South Carolina. These larger communities of faith bear witness to the reality and the importance of our connections within the Episcopal Church. Already you have been generous in sharing resources with others, and that generosity will be even more important in the days and months to come. Indeed, to a great extent, the degree to which we are healthy and flourish as a diocese in the future will depend on your continuing commitment to the whole of our diocese. Speaking of connections, thanks also to the greater Episcopal Church. This body of which we are blessed to be a part has offered us support and encouragement in many, many ways. Parishes and missions from other dioceses have sent money and supplies to our continuing churches and worshiping communities. Priests have traveled great distances to lead worship services here. The Executive Council of the Episcopal Church has granted us funds to assist us in this initial year of reorganizing. Workshops on surviving church traumas and on improving communications will be offered in 2 weeks' time by members of the Episcopal Church staff. Be aware also of other opportunities for engagement with the larger church, some of which have already been scheduled and are identified on flyers in your registration packets. For instance, opportunities to be involved with products for youth events and the invitation to attend the Diocesan Acolyte Festival. Finally, in terms of reasons for gratitude for the greater Episcopal Church, we are organizing opportunities for clergy continuing education and for encouraging and supporting healthy congregations with the help of the church pension group. Thus, there are many, many things to be thankful for in the Episcopal Church in South Carolina. May gratitude guide our hearts, direct our wills, and inform our prayers in all the days to come. And may we be enabled, therefore, to love and serve the Lord. In summary, then, we have so very much to be thankful for. As individuals, as churches and worshiping communities, as the Episcopal Church in South Carolina, and as Episcopalians who are part of the Anglican communion. But being thankful requires a choice, as does a life of gratitude. I commend that choice to you as a way of life. The choice of gratitude will enable faithfulness as we follow the way of Jesus Christ and as we seek to love and serve the Lord.